The knife slipped from Noah's trembling hand, clattering against the marble countertop like a gunshot in the quiet dawn of the Hamptons' kitchen. Blood welled up from his palm, but he didn't feel it. Not yet, because Jacob's voice echoed from the hallway, sharp as shattered glass. If you love me, prove it. Lie to them. Become someone else. And just like that, in the span of a heartbeat, Noah Harlan, heir to a tech empire worth billions, traded his Armani suits for a faded apron stained with someone else's regrets, all to win the heart of the man he swore he'd die for. It was supposed to be simple. Jacob's family reunion in upstate New York. A sprawling Victorian farmhouse on the edge of the Hudson Valley, where old money whispered through the floorboards and secrets festered like untreated wounds. Noah had met Jacob 2 years ago at a charity gala in Manhattan. Jacob, with his easy laugh and eyes like storm-tossed seas, a rising architect from a lineage of blue-collar grit masking something brittle underneath. They were fire and gasoline from the start. Stolen kisses in coat closets, late-night drives up the Pacific Coast Highway when Jacob needed to escape his family's suffocating expectations. Noah, orphaned young and raised by nannies in glass-walled penthouses, saw in Jacob the raw humanity he'd always craved. Jacob saw in Noah a ticket out of the shadows. But Jacob's family? They were the ghosts Noah had to exorcise. They're old school. Noah. Jacob had confessed one rain-slicked night in their Soho loft, his head on Noah's chest. Dad's a retired cop. Mom's the church lady type. They pray away anything that doesn't fit their Bible Belt transplant to the Empire State. If they knew about us, about you, the gay Jewish billionaire playboy, they'd disown me faster than you can say, conversion therapy. Noah had laughed it off at first, but Jacob's fear was a living thing, coiling tighter with every family call that ended in veiled barbs about finding a nice girl. So when the invitation came for the annual Harlan Harrington Harvest Feast, Jacob's last name, a shield Noah would soon hide behind, Noah made his vow. He'd pretend to be Nate, the humble line cook from a Brooklyn diner, hired last minute to handle the turkey and pies. No private jets, no security detail. Just calloused hands from feigned shifts at a greasy spoon he'd never set foot in, and a backstory stitched from half-remembered episodes of diners, drive-ins and dives. The drive up from the city was a blur of golden October leaves and Jacob's hand on his thigh. The engagement ring, a simple platinum band etched with their initials, burning a hole in Noah's pocket. They'd gotten engaged in Central Park at sunrise, Noah dropping to one knee amid joggers and dog walkers, whispering, "You're my forever, Jake." No empires, no fortunes, just us. Jacob's yes had been a sob, his kiss tasting of salt and surrender. Now, as the GPS chimed their arrival at the farmhouse, Noah parked the rented Ford pickup a quarter-mile down the dirt road, trading his Rolex for a Timex knockoff. "You sure about this?" Jacob asked, his voice cracking like thin ice. Noah leaned over, cupping Jacob's face, thumbs brushing the faint scar above his eyebrow from a childhood fall. "For you, I'd cook for the devil himself." They shared a kiss that lingered too long, heavy with unspoken doubts, before Jacob drove ahead in his own beat-up Jeep. Noah waited 10 minutes, heart pounding like a bass drum, then shouldered a duffel of chef gear, borrowed from a friend in the industry, and trudged up the lane, the crisp air biting through his flannel shirt. The farmhouse loomed like a sentinel, its wraparound porch sagging under the weight of potted mums and wind chimes that tinkled like warnings. Smoke curled from the chimney, carrying the scent of cordite from a recent bonfire. Jacob's family was already there. His parents, Tom and Evelyn Harrington, pillars of the local VFW and PDA. His sister Lila, a sharp-tongued realtor with a toddler on her hip, and Uncle Ray, the boisterous Vietnam vet who chain-smoked camels and told stories that blurred into tall tales. They greeted Jacob with bear hugs and backslaps, their laughter booming across the lawn. Noah hung back by the kitchen door, apron tied, until Jacob introduced him casually. "This is Nate, the cook I rustled up from the city." Place was booked solid, but he's a wizard with a whisk. Tom Harrington sized him up first, his cop's eyes narrowing under bushy brows. At 65, Tom was built like a fireplug, his flannel shirt straining over a belly earned from too many post-shift beers. "Nate, huh? You look like you could use a real meal yourself. What's a city boy like you know about country eatin'?" Noah forced a grin, wiping flour-dusted hands on his jeans. "Enough to keep you from burnin' the bird, sir. Grew up slingin' hash in Flatbush, nothing fancy, just honest food." Evelyn fluttered over next, her silver-streaked bun impeccable, offering a plate of deviled eggs with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Bless your heart for helping out, dear. Jacob says you're a godsend." Lila smirked from the sidelines, bouncing her son Milo on her knee. "Just don't poison us, Nate. We Harringtons are tough, but not that tough." Uncle Ray clapped him on the back hard enough to rattle teeth. "Hell, boy, long as you got beer in that cooler, you're family." The kitchen became Noah's battlefield, a cavernous space with scarred oak cabinets and a 6-burner stove that hummed like a beast. He chopped onions until his eyes watered, basted the turkey with bourbon he'd smuggled in a mason jar, and kneaded dough for biscuits that rose like small miracles. Jacob hovered at the edges, stealing touches, a brush of fingers, a whispered "you're killing it." But his eyes darted to his family, always checking, always guarding. Dinner was a symphony of clinking silverware and overlapping voices. Tom's tales of busting bootleggers in the 80s, Evelyn's recipes from her Methodist cookbook, Lila's gripes about the housing market. Noah served it all with a deferential nod, refilling glasses, clearing plates, the ring in his pocket a talisman against the ache in his feet. As night fell, the group migrated to the living room, a fire crackling in the stone hearth. Noah lingered in the kitchen, scrubbing pots, when Jacob slipped in, pulling him into the pantry. "God, I hate this," Jacob murmured, pressing his forehead to Noah's. "Seeing you like this, it kills me." Noah kissed him fiercely, tasting the wine on his lips. "It's one weekend, babe. Then we're out Vegas, Paris, wherever. Just us." Jacob pulled back, his face shadowed. "Yeah, just us." But there was a hitch in his voice, a fracture Noah chalked up to nerves. The first crack appeared the next morning, over breakfast. Noah was flipping pancakes when Milo toddled in, clutching a toy truck, and plopped down at Noah's feet. "Unca Nate, why you sad?" The kid's innocence hit like a gut punch. Noah crouched, ruffling his curls. "Not sad, little man. Just thinking about pie." But Milo wasn't buying it, his chubby finger pointing at Noah's hand, the one still bandaged from that dawn slip. "Oh, Evelyn swept in then, scooping Milo up with a coo. "Nate, honey, let me wrap that fresh. Can't have our hero keeling over." As she dabbed antiseptic, her gaze lingered on the faded tattoo on Noah's wrist, a Hebrew prayer for protection, inked after his parents' plane crash. "That's lovely. What does it mean?" Noah froze, the lie forming like bile. Just family first, ma'am. Old tradition. She nodded, but her eyes sharpened, filing it away. Jacob burst in moments later, all forced cheer. Pancakes ready? Dad's on his third coffee, better armor up. The day unfolded in a haze of chores. Raking leaves into piles that Milo demolished with glee. A pickup game of touch football where Noah accidentally let Tom score the winning touchdown. Laughter rang out, genuine at times, and Noah caught glimpses of the boy Jacob must have been, chasing fireflies, building forts in the barn. But beneath it, the tension hummed like a live wire. During lunch, Uncle Ray cornered Noah by the grill. "You remind me of someone, kid." That jawline, sworn I'd seen it on the society pages. "You sure you're just a cook?" Noah's pulse spiked, but he played it cool, flipping burgers with a wink. "Flattery'll get you extra relish, Uncle Ray. But nah, I'm the guy who burns toast on the reg." Ray chuckled, but his eyes didn't laugh. That night, as the family gathered for stories around the fire pit, Jacob sat closer than necessary, his knee pressing Noah's under the blanket. Tom's voice boomed over the crackle. "Back in '92, we had this case. Millionaire kid. Thought he could buy his way out of a DUI. Spoiled rotten. That one. Ended up in the clink anyway." The words landed like embers on Noah's skin. Jacob stiffened, his hand finding Noah's in the dark. Ancient history, that passed the Esmores. By Sunday, the air felt thicker, laced with unspoken accusations. Noah was prepping the farewell brunch, quiche Lorraine, his specialty, when he overheard Evelyn in the hall, voice low, "Tom, that boy's too polished for a diner hack." And Jacob's been jumpy as a cat in a room full of rockin' chairs. Tom's grunt was non-committal, but it echoed in Noah's skull as he cracked eggs with unnecessary force. Jacob found him there, arms wrapping around from behind. "One more meal, then we're gone. I love you, Nate." The name stung, but Noah leaned into it, whispering, "Love you more, Jake." The brunch unfolded like a minefield disguised as a buffet. Sunlight slanted through the lace curtains, gilding the oak table laden with frittatas, fresh scones, and a fruit compote that glistened like jewels. Noah moved through it all with the grace of a man walking a tightrope, serving seconds to Lila's effusive praise. "Nate, you've got magic in those hands," while dodging Tom's probing glances. Uncle Ray, nursing a Bloody Mary, kept circling back to old New York tabloids, his stories veering dangerously close to Harlan Industries scandals Noah had buried under NDAs. "Ever hear of that tech was kid who offed himself in 15? Nah, wrong one. This was the golden boy, engaged to some socialite, then poof, vanished like smoke." Jacob's fork clattered against his plate, drawing all eyes. "Ray, enough with the ghost stories. It's a beautiful day, let's talk football." But the damage was done. Evelyn's lips pursed, her fork spearing a grape with precision. Milo, oblivious, smeared jam on Noah's apron, giggling as Noah feigned horror. "You little terrorist, this means war." He scooped the boy up, tickling until tears of laughter streamed down both their faces. For a moment, the room thawed, Tom's chuckle rumbling low, Lila snapping a photo on her phone. "Nate, you're a natural. Ever think about kids?" The question hung, innocent on the surface, but Jacob's hand tightened under the table, knuckles white. After plates were cleared, the family scattered, Tom and Ray to the garage for man talk over carburetors. Evelyn and Lila to the garden with Milo in tow. Jacob pulled Noah aside to the mudroom, the door clicking shut like a confessional. They're buying it. We did it. His kiss was urgent, hands roaming under Noah's shirt, but Noah pulled back, breath ragged. Jake, your uncle's onto something. I need to lay low, maybe fake a call from the diner, head out early. Jacob's face crumpled, vulnerability cracking his facade. No. Stay. Please. This is the closest I've felt to them in years. Noah searched those blue eyes, seeing the boy who'd confessed his first crush on a high school quarterback. The man who'd chosen love over legacy. Okay. For you. The afternoon dragged into a haze of domesticity. Noah joined the women in the kitchen, drying dishes while Evelyn unpacked old photo albums on the counter. Look here. Nate Jacob at his prom. Handsome devil. Wasn't he? The pictures were a time capsule. Gangly teen Jacob in a ill-fitting tux, arm around a girl with braces and a forced smile. Little league trophies. A family portrait where everyone's eyes but Jacob's shone with uncomplicated joy. Noah's throat tightened at one shot. A faded Polaroid of young Jacob, maybe 10, sitting alone on the porch steps, chin on knees, staring at a horizon that promised escape. He was always a dreamer, Evelyn sighed, tracing the image. Wanted to build things, bridges, skyscrapers. But Tom. Well, dreams don't pay the mortgage. Lila chimed in, her voice laced with sibling edge. Mom sugarcoats it. Dad wanted him in the force, like Ray. Be a man, Jacob. Instead, he runs off to Pratt Institute, comes back with fancy blueprints and a chip on his shoulder. Noah nodded, filing away the resentment simmering beneath the words. Sounds like he carved his own path. Takes guts. Evelyn's smile faltered. Guts or stubbornness? He never brings anyone home. Says he's focused on work. A mother worries. You know, the subtext was a blade. What's your angle? Stranger? Noah deflected with a joke about his own non-existent love life. But the seed of doubt took root. As dusk painted the sky in bruised purples, the family reconvened for cocktails on the porch. Noah mixed Manhattans with practiced flair, the cherry garnish a flourish from his fabricated past. Tom pulled him aside by the railing, cigar smoke curling like accusations. Nate, level with me. You got that look. Like you've seen the underbelly of this city and lived to tell. What's a guy like you really doing rustlin' up grub for strangers? Noah's mouth went dry, the Hudson River glittering below like a vein of mercury. Life's funny, Mr. Harrington. Lost my folks young, bounced around foster homes. Cooking steady, keeps the wolves at bay. It was a half-truth, pieced from Noah's own ghosts, and Tom's grip on his shoulder softened. Fair enough, son. We've all got scars. Jacob's lucky to have a friend like you. The word friend landed like a slap, but Noah swallowed it, rejoining the group as fireflies danced in the yard. Jacob was animated, regaling them with tales of his latest project, a sustainable high-rise in Brooklyn. But his eyes kept flicking to Noah, a silent plea. Later, as stars pricked the velvet sky, they stole away to the old treehouse in the backyard oak, a rickety relic of Jacob's childhood. Creaking boards underfoot, they tangled together, breaths mingling in the humid night. This is insane, Noah whispered, Jacob's weight pinning him down, lips trailing fire along his collarbone. I feel like a spy in my own life. Jacob paused, vulnerability raw. But you're here. That's everything. Their lovemaking was fevered, quiet gasps swallowed by the wind, a reclaiming amid the deception. Monday morning broke with a vengeance. Thunder rumbling over the valley, rain lashing the windows like judgment. Noah was packing his duffel in the guest room when a knock shattered the quiet. Lila, drenched from a porch dash, held out her phone. Nate, you might want to see this. Weird. The screen glowed with a Google alert. Harlan Air spotted in Hudson Valley. Secret getaway or family feud. A grainy photo from a local busybody's Facebook. Noah, mid-laugh at the fire pit, arms slung around Jacob. The comments were vultures. Who's the arm candy? New boy toy? Heart slamming. Noah scrolled, his face unmistakable, the apron doing nothing to disguise the Harlan jawline Ray had clocked. Shit. Jacob appeared in the doorway, towel around his waist from a shower, face ashen. How? I told my assistant no leaks. Evelyn's voice cut through from downstairs. Shrill. Tom, get in here now. They tumbled down to the living room, where the family clustered around the laptop, Tom's finger jabbing the screen. This your cook, Jacob? Spill it. Boy. Jacob's knees buckled, but Noah stepped forward, voice steady. It's me. Noah Harlan. Not Nate. And Jacob's my fiancé. The room imploded. Evelyn's gasp a wheeze. Lila's what the hell? Ray's cigar dropping ash on the rug. Tom rose like a colossus, face purple. Fiancé? You mean that? After all we've. Words failed. Fists clenched. Jacob shoved between them, voice breaking. Dad. Listen, I love him. This was my idea. The lie. To protect you from not understanding. Tom's laugh was bitter. A bark. Protect us? From your perversion? We raised you better. The slap came fast. Tom's open hand cracking across Jacob's cheek. The sound wet and final. Noah lunged, but Jacob held him back. Blood welling from a split lip. Don't. Please. Chaos reigned. Evelyn sobbing into her apron. Milo wailing from Lila's arms. Ray muttering about city poisons. Noah's world narrowed to Jacob's bruised face. The ring suddenly heavy in his palm as he slipped it on Jacob's finger right there. Defiant. Marry me anyway. Today. But Tom wasn't done. He stormed to the mantel, yanking down a locked box, keys jangling like chains. You want a truth, boy? Here's one that'll curdle your milk. Inside yellowed letters, a deed to the farmhouse. Photos of a younger Tom, not in uniform, but in a pinstripe suit, arm around a man with Jacob's eyes. Your uncle wasn't the only Harrington with secrets. Met him in Nam best friend. More than that. Came home. Tried to build a life. But the world, it chews up love like ours and spits out lies. Evelyn's voice. Small. We buried it, Jacob. For you. To give you normal. The room spun. Betrayal layered on betrayal. Jacob staggered back, whispering, You. Lied? All this time. Rain hammered the roof like accusations as the Harrington secrets spilled across the living room floor, letters fluttering like wounded birds. Tom sank into his armchair, the fight draining from him, leaving a hollowed-out shell of a man who'd spent decades policing his own heart. It was 72. Saigon heat, foxholes where boys became men or something else. Eddie, your blood uncle. Jacob, the one Mama said died heroic, he was my anchor. We'd whisper plans under the stars. Buy a ranch upstate. Raise horses. Forget the world's hate. His voice cracked. Cigar forgotten. Evelyn knelt beside him, hand on his knee, her church lady facade crumbling. We met after me, the widow next door, burying my own ghost. Tom told me everything one drunk night. I said yes anyway, because love's a choice, not a curse. Jacob slid down the wall, Noah cradling him, the engagement ring glinting mockingly in the lamplight. Why hide it? Why preach fire and brimstone at me my whole life? Tom's eyes, red-rimmed, met his son's. Because it broke us, son. Eddie OD'd in 75, couldn't face the straight world after. I swore I'd armor you against that pain. Church, girls, the force, it was all to keep you safe. Lila, tears streaking her mascara, clutched Milo tighter. We all knew. Jake whispered about it at holidays. Thought it'd make you run straighter. Not this, Ray. Silent till now. Stubbed out his smoke. Kid, your old man's a hero for trying. But heroes bleed. Noah's mind reeled, the millionaire's detachment warring with the raw ache in his chest. He'd built Harlan Tech on clean lines and algorithms, emotions boxed like code. But here, in this storm-lashed farmhouse, humanity oozed from every crack, messy, unforgiving, achingly real. He pressed his lips to Jacob's temple, tasting salt. Breathe, babe. We're in this. Jacob's laugh was a sob. In this, my family's a goddamn lie factory. And you, God, Noah, I dragged you into the circus. The vulnerability hit Noah like a wave. This was the man who'd mapped vulnerability into blueprints, hiding his queerness behind drafting tables and double shifts. Noah had fallen for that strength. But now he saw the fractures, the boy who'd internalized his father's shame. Evelyn rose, bridging the chasm, her apron twisted in fists. Enough. We've all pretended long enough. Nate or Noah, you cooked for us like kin. That means something. Tom grunted assent, but his gaze on the couple was wary, a cop assessing threats. Doesn't change facts. World's still ugly out there. You too. You'll get chewed up. Jacob surged to his feet, fire in his veins. Like you were? Hiding love till it killed a man? No. We're done hiding. He grabbed Noah's hand, storming toward the door, but Lila's voice stopped them cold. Wait, there's more. In the attic. Eddie's box. Dad never opened it after. The attic stairs creaked under their weight, dust motes swirling in flashlight beams like specters. Jacob's fingers trembled on the latch of a steamer trunk, monogrammed EH. Inside, dog-eared journals, Purple Heart tarnished with time, photos of two soldiers entwined in jungle shadows, Tom, young and fierce, Eddie mirroring Jacob's profile down to the crooked smile. The journals were poetry in fatigues, odes to stolen touches, fears of dishonorable discharges, dreams of a cabin by the river. One entry gutted them. If we make it home, Tommy, I'll build us a life brick by brick. No more foxholes. Jacob traced the words, voice hollow. He was an architect too. Like me. Noah wrapped arms around him from behind, chin on shoulder. Like you. He saw beauty in the broken. Downstairs, the family waited, the air thick with unspoken truces. Tom accepted a journal, reading silently, tears carving tracks in the grime of his cheeks. Missed my chance to say goodbye. Evelyn lit candles, actual ones, not the electric fakes, murmuring a prayer that bent scripture toward grace. Love bears all things, even the lies we tell ourselves. Dinner that night was makeshift. Leftovers reheated, wine poured liberally. Toasts were awkward. Ray to lost brothers, Lila to new beginnings. But Jacob and Noah sat side by side, hands linked openly. Tom's eyes lingered on the ring, a flicker of something like pride warring with loss. Fancy rock, Harlan. Treat him right, or I'll cuff you myself. The storm broke by midnight, stars winking through scudding clouds. Noah and Jacob slipped out to the porch swing, wrapped in a quilt that smelled of mothballs and memories. I almost lost you today, Noah murmured, fingers tracing Jacob's bruised jaw. Jacob leaned in, breath warm. Never. But this changes everything. My family's human. Flawed as fuck. Noah chuckled, the sound rumbling deep. Welcome to the club. Mine's a boardroom of vipers. Dad's ghost still barking orders from the grave. They kissed slow, exploratory, the world narrowing to the creak of chains and the river's murmur. But dawn brought reality. Noah's phone buzzing with alerts, paparazzi swarming the valley road, headlines screaming billionaire's secret fiancé. Harrington Air comes out with a bang. Jacob groaned, burying his face in Noah's neck. Your world's crashing ours. Noah silenced it, resolve hardening. Ours now. We'll face it together. They drove back to the city in tandem, the Jeep and pickup convoying through mist-shrouded hills. Manhattan greeted them with honking fury, but Sanctuary waited in their loft. Skyline views, a bed that swallowed them whole. That night, tangled in sheets, Jacob confessed over wine. The lie wasn't just for them. It was for me, testing if I could love you without the baggage. Noah's heart clenched. And Jacob's eyes, soft, passed with flying colors. You're my blueprint. Weeks blurred into a whirlwind. Engagement announcements hit the New York Times. Tech titan weds architect. A union of hearts and heights, sparking talk show invites and donor dinners. Noah's team spun it gold. Authenticity branding for Harlan Tech's new inclusivity app. But cracks spiderwebbed beneath. Jacob's firm, conservative-leaning, sidelined him for personal matters. Tom's calls were weekly grunts. Evelyn's baked goods arriving like peace offerings. Lila texted memes, a bridge in pixels. Then, the betrayal, no. The unraveling struck at Thanksgiving. Noah, ever the planner, flew the Harringtons to the city for a neutral ground feast. His penthouse overlooking the park, catered but soulful, Evelyn's cornbread recipe, Tom's venison from a hunt. It started idyllic. Milo chasing laser pointers across marble floors, Ray toasting with Noah's single malt. But post-dinner, as snow dusted the windows, Tom pulled Jacob aside to the study. Noah lingered in the hall, eavesdropping by accident or instinct. Son, that photo album? Eddie's ghost ain't the only one. Your ma and me. We weren't clean. After Eddie, I drowned in bars, came home to her with bruises that weren't from falls. Jacob's voice, edged. What are you saying? Tom's low rumble. Milo ain't Lila's by blood. That realtor prick she married? He bolted when the truth hit. We claimed him, raised him as ours to bury the shame. Family's what you make, not what DNA deals. Jacob emerged ghost white, storming to the balcony. Noah followed, the city lights blurring through unshed tears. They faked everything. Milo's my nephew, half-nephew? God. Noah. It's all smoke. Noah pulled him close, wind whipping their coats. Smoke clears. We rebuild. But doubt seeded. If Jacob's family was facade, what of their love? Built on Noah's fortune and Jacob's hidden fractures? December descended on Manhattan like a velvet shroud, Christmas lights threading the skyline in electric promises. Noah threw himself into the wedding, destination vows in the Berkshires, a June affair blending rustic charm with understated opulence. Wildflower arches, a string quartet playing Bernstein, vows co-written under duvets during snowed-in weekends. Jacob dove into designs, sketching their dream home, a glass-walled haven in the Hudson Valley, bridging old wounds with new lines. Publicly, they were darlings, Out magazine cover, Vogue feature on queer power couples redefining legacy. Privately, fissures widened. Jacob's nightmares returned, foxholes morphing into family portraits, Eddie's face superimposing Tom's. What if we're just repeating history? He'd murmur at 3 a.m., Noah's arms his only anchor. The shocking truth Noah uncovered wasn't a single blow, but a cascade, starting with an innocuous email, an archivist from the New York Public Library, forwarding digitized vet records unearthed in a grant project. Edward Harrington, possible match for your inquiry. Noah, researching for a surprise gift, a restored journal bound in leather, clicked through, heart stuttering at the metadata. Eddie hadn't OD'd in 75. Discharged honorably in 73. He'd vanished stateside. No death cert, but a trail of aliases leading to San Francisco's Castro district, ground zero for the early AIDS crisis. A final notation. Deceased 1984. Complications from pneumonia. No known next of kin. Noah's hands shook as he printed it, the loft silence deafening. Jacob was at a site visit. Noah paced, piecing the lie. Tom's OD story? A mercy edit, shielding Jacob from the era's plague stigma. The lover lost not to drugs but a virus that felled thousands in shadows. But why withhold the full truth now? Guilt gnawed. Noah had pried open Pandora's farmhouse, and now the ills swarmed. He drove to Queens that afternoon, unannounced, to the Harringtons' modest rancher, the one Tom had earned patrolling beats. Evelyn answered, flour-dusted from cookies, her hug tentative. Noah? Jacob's not. Oh, dear. Come in. Tom was in the den, tinkering with a model train set, a boy's hobby masking a man's regrets. He stiffened at the folder, but waved Noah to sit. Out with it, son. Noah slid the pages across the coffee table, voice level. Eddie didn't overdose. He fought for years. Alone. Why the lie? Tom's face folded, decades etching deeper. Pride. And shame. He wrote me once. 78 said he was happy, building houses for his kind in Cali. Then nothing. By 84, I knew from whispers the sickness. Couldn't face burying another secret. Told the family drugs, easier pill. Evelyn's sob was muffled in a handkerchief. We visited once. Incognito. Castro was alive, then dying. Eddie looked at us like strangers, said to let Jacob think him a hero, not a ghost. Noah's anger flared, hot and righteous. He deserved better. Jacob deserves the truth. All of it. Tom met his gaze, unbowed. Truth's a blade, Harlan. Cuts deepest when you wield it wrong. You With your billions, think money mends? Eddie's gone. But his blood's in Jacob. Protect that, or you're no better than me. The drive home blurred. Noah's Ferrari eating miles. The revelation a stone in his gut. Jacob arrived to candlelight and takeout, pad thai. Their comfort food, but Noah's delivery faltered. The folder burning in his briefcase. Babe, we need to talk. Jacob's face drained as he read, crumpling into Noah's lap on the rug. AIDS? All those sermons, God's wrath, and Dad knew love like ours could kill. Rage boiled over. Jacob hurling the pages into the fire. Flames devouring ink. I can't. I need air. He bolted to the bedroom, door slamming. Noah followed, finding him curled fetal, sobs racking. I'm sorry, Noah whispered, stroking sweat-damp hair. I thought knowing would heal. Jacob's eyes. Wild. Heal? It exposes us, all of us, as frauds. What if our love's just another lie I'll regret? The words lodged like shrapnel. Noah retreated to his office, staring at blueprints Jacob had framed. Their future home, lines converging in harmony. But harmony fractured further at the firm's holiday party. A glittering affair at the Rainbow Room, where Jacob's boss clapped him on the back with oily charm. Heard about the wedding, Harrington. Congrats. Long as it doesn't distract from deadlines. Whispers followed. Clients pulling bids. Citing instability. Jacob downed champagne like water, his architect's poise cracking into brittle laughs. In the coat room, a colleague cornered him, older, tenured, with a predatory gleam. Heard the old man's a vet. Respect. But this Harlan thing? Careful, kid. Power plays get messy. Noah intercepted, arm sliding possessive around Jacob's waist. Everything good here? The colleague slunk off, but Jacob shrugged free, slurring. Always the night. Huh? Save me from shadows. Outside, snow swirling. Jacob lit a rare cigarette, swiped from Ray exhaling frost. That guy, he propositioned me once. Pre-you. Said he'd fast-track my portfolio if I played nice. I said no. Now, wonder if I should've. Noah's blood iced. Jealousy's a thief, Jake. Don't let it rob us. But the seed, betrayal's whisper, took root. Was Jacob's hesitation not fear, but temptation? The lie Noah had lived as Nate echoed. Facades bred doubt. New Year's Eve amplified the storm. They hosted a small bash, friends from Noah's circles mingling with Jacob's crew, fireworks popping over the East River. But midway, Jacob vanished to the rooftop, phone glued to ear. Noah found him there, voice low. Lila, tell Dad I'm done. No more half-truths. And Milo, Jesus, is he even? The call ended in static tears. Noah knelt, gathering shards. Family's messy. Ours too. Jacob's confession spilled then. Raw, I cheated once. College. Panicked after Dad's man-up speech. Some guy at a bar meaningless. But it haunts. What if I'm wired wrong for this? Noah's world tilted. Betrayal not from family, but the man he idolized. Why now? Jacob wept. Because Eddie's truth makes me see. Love's not linear. It's a rebuild. Noah walked the streets that night, blocks blurring, the ring's weight a noose. Billionaire instincts screamed. Cut losses, deploy lawyers for an annulment. But emotion, that humanistic core Jacob had awakened, held him. Dawn found him at a 24-hour diner. Real this time, Nursing coffee amid night shift confessions. A drag queen in the booth opposite, sequins frayed, clocked his turmoil. Honey, hearts break 'cause they're full. Fix it or flee, but own it. Noah returned to the loft, finding Jacob asleep amid confetti, vulnerability etched in repose. He slid beside him, whispering forgiveness into curls. We're flawed. That's our strength. Spring bloom tentative. Wedding prep a battlefield of emotions. Vendors balked at controversial publicity. Tom's invite lingered and signed. But a breakthrough came in April. Ray, uninvited, showed at the loft with a six-pack and Eddie's Purple Heart. For the groom who fought without foxholes. Over beers, stories flowed, and censored, healing. Jacob hugged him fierce. Uncle, you knew. Ray's grin wry. Knew and kept quiet. Sometimes silence is the sharpest truth. Tom arrived days later, envelope in hand, the deed to the farmhouse, deeded joint to Jacob and Noah. Build on it. Or burn it. Your call. Evelyn's note inside. Love isn't hidden. It's handed down. Yet climax loomed, dramatic as a summer squall. The bachelor party, Jacob's idea, low-key at a Catskills cabin turned confessional. Strippers? Nah. Just bourbon and bros. Noah's queer found family. Jacob's straight-laced colleagues thawed by firelight. Midway, Jacob's phone lit up. Anonymous text. Photo attached. Noah's stomach dropped. Him and Jacob in the treehouse. Mid-kiss. Time-stamped that first weekend. Sender. Lila's ex? Or a rival architect? The message. Wedding's off. Your fiancé's been playing both sides, me and the millionaire. Proof attached. Links to emails. Jacob's. Innocuous consults with the colleague from the party. But twisted, flirty emojis. Late night meets framed as networking. Betrayal's blade twisted deep. Jacob paled, swearing innocence. Fabricated, deep fakes. Hacks. That bastard's sabotaging my promotion. But doubt festered. Noah's trust, once granite, crumbled to sand. How many once? Jake, the college slip. Now this shadow. Jacob's plea broke. Believe me. Or we're done before vows. The cabin emptied fast. Friends sensing fracture. Alone under stars. Noah hurled the phone into the lake. Ripples echoing his rage. I pretended for you, lost myself. And you, Jacob's whisper, gained you. That's the truth. The week before the wedding was a pressure cooker. Steam hissing from every seam. Noah retreated to his boardroom bunker. Harlan Tech's glass towers, a sterile refuge where emotions were quarterly reports, not heartbeats. He greenlit the app's launch Bridge Builder, connecting hidden histories, a digital archive for queer veterans, Eddie's legacy digitized. PR spun it as wedding tie-in, from foxholes to forever. But inside, turmoil churned. Jacob barraged with voicemails, raw, ragged. Noah, it's a setup. Check the metadata. Timestamps fake. Noah didn't. Instead, he hired investigators, the kind who unearthed corporate skeletons, not lovers' lies. Their report landed Friday. Colleague confirmed, emails genuine, but context damning only in isolation. Flirtation, not affair, the PI noted. Harrington shut it down months ago. Sender, anonymous IP, traced to your rival firm, Industrial Sabotage. Relief flooded, but so did shame. Noah had doubted the ultimate betrayal, projecting his own facade onto Jacob's soul. He drove through pouring rain to the Hudson Valley site, their half-built home a skeleton of steel and hope, beams piercing thunderheads like accusations. Jacob was there, alone on the foundation, soaked to skin, hammering stakes with futile fury. Noah approached, umbrella discarded, joining the rhythm bang, echo, catharsis. "I was wrong," Noah shouted over the storm. "Forgive me." Jacob dropped the mallet, turning, eyes stormy. "You think my slips define us? Your doubt does." They collided then, rain mingling with tears, kisses bruising in apology. "We're even," Jacob gasped. "Flawed, but fighting." The wedding dawned crystalline, June sun gilding the Berkshire's rolling hills. The farmhouse, repurposed, not raised, served as venue. Porch vows under wild rose arches, guests a tapestry of worlds. Noah's side, tech moguls in bespoke linen, queer activists with rainbow pins. Jacob's, Harrington kin in pressed khakis, Tom's uniform crisp, Evelyn's corsage trembling. Ray officiated, his vet baritone steady. "Love ain't a battlefield. It's the foxhole you dig together." Vows poured out Noah's, scripted then scrapped for raw. "I pretended to be Nate to win you, but you made me Noah whole. I'll build with you, brick by broken brick." Jacob's, voice cracking. "You saw my shadows and stayed. In you, I found home, not hiding, but here." Milo, ring bearer at 4, toddled down the aisle scattering petals and giggles, his parentage a footnote in the narrative of chosen family. Tom's toast later, over roast lamb and Evelyn's pie. "Eddie taught me love's worth the war. You too? You're the peace." Laughter flowed, dances under lanterns, Jacob twirling Noah to at last. Hands possessive, eyes promising forever. But humanism's thread wove deeper in quiet moments. Lila confessing Milo's bio-dad's return bid, squashed by family decree. Ray gifting Eddie's restored journal, pages now a wedding program insert. No by kitsch here, just scars honored, not hidden. Honeymoon in Big Sur blurred days into salt-kissed haze. Cliffside hikes, bonfires where Jacob sketched, Noah coded. "This is us," Jacob said one dawn, waves crashing below. Unscripted, back in the city, life layered, Harlan tech boomed. Jacob's firm promoted him post-scandal, rival exposed, ousted. They broke ground on the house, glass walls facing the river, a library for Eddie's tomes. Challenges came, tabloid digs, Tom's health scare, prostate, caught early, but they weathered. Therapy sessions co-led by a queer vet counselor, turning pain to pillar. A year on, at the farmhouse harvest, full circle, Noah donned the apron again, this time unpretended. Turkey basting amid Milo's help, Jacob's hand on his back, ring catching light. "Still my cook," he teased. Noah grinned, pulling him close. "And you're still my architect." Tom watched from the porch, Evelyn beside, their nod a benediction. Secrets uncovered hadn't shattered. They'd rebuilt, stronger, translucent. In America's heartland sprawl, where dreams clashed with dust, two men found not perfection, but profundity, love as verb, as choice, as the shocking truth that life, messy and magnificent, changes for the better when you dare to taste it raw. The end came not in tragedy, but quiet revolution. Noah, scrolling news one autumn eve, paused at a profile. Queer Vet's archive saves stories, one click at a time. Eddie's face, restored from a faded scan, smiled out. Jacob leaned over, chin on shoulder. We did that. Noah turned, kissing him soft. We did everything. Outside, leaves fell like confetti, the Hudson whispering onward. In the empire of their making, no pretenses remained, only the empire of us.